All right. Good morning, everyone. We are going to get started with our business plan for 2022. I am your facilitator for today, Candy Martin from Martin Business Solutions. And as you can see on the screen, we are planning out our 2022 for our business. So now if you're new to business, this is great. If you've been in business a long time, this is great for you as well. If you kind of haven't decided if you want to start, stop, or finish, this will help you make those decisions. Now, a business plan, one of the beauties of a business plan, it can be edited. So everything that you write out today doesn't necessarily have to be set in concrete stone forever and ever. So don't get fearful and say, well, what if you change your mind later? Let's just deal with where you are today in your business. It could be for your organization, business, ministry, even in your personal life, having a business plan for the home. But today we're going to focus on, pick a business of your choice. If you have multiple businesses, let's just decide to work with one so that you can get the concept of business planning, not necessarily where this is going to be, the last hoorah and everything you put in here is final. All right. So just pick one and then we'll go from there. All right, go to the next group. All right, so some of the things that we're going to talk about today, and you can write this in your notes, kind of have a guideline of where we're going to discuss, because the business plan can be very extensive. This is going to be a short summary of a business plan, just so that you can make sure that you get the basics down pat first. There's a more in-depth class that we teach where we actually go through each item, and that takes a couple of weeks. So today you're going to get like a crash course summary, enough to either get you going or to be able to restructure or to rethink, so that you can relaunch. This is a new year, so it's a new opportunity. We're going to talk about the market problem, meaning in your industry, there's an issue, there's a problem, there's a challenge, and you, as an entrepreneur, business owner, have decided to solve that problem. Now, sometimes we think of things as not being a bad problem. So there are some good problems, yes. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to also discuss your solution. What are you doing to solve the problem? We're going to talk about target market. We're going to talk about your competitors. You have to know who your competitors are so that you can stay current and relevant, and you want to be appetizing to the customers and clients. Sales and marketing, which is always the favorite part, the fun part, talking about how to close sales, and your marketing method that you're going to choose to get your business out there. Milestones, and we're going to talk about your team. And a lot of times people that are single member business owners, they often don't think of themselves as having a team, but we're going to find out that you do. And then we're going to talk about that word, budget. Woo, so everybody say budget with me. It's an okay word to say. So we're going to talk about that as well. All right. All right, so the first exercise that we're going to do, and those of you that were on here last week, you get a chance to do over. So we're going to talk about the pitch. And in every business plan, it has to have a starting point. Well, just so happens the starting point for this business plan is also the pitch that you can use to tell someone else about your business to potentially get the sales process going. If you want an elevator with a multi-millionaire that was looking for some business or some endeavor or nonprofit organization to donate to, you would be in the perfect place at the perfect time. But you would have to be able to tell them about your business or your organization before the elevator stops and they exit. So what I want to do, we're going to do a little exercise. I like to do things interactive so that we can keep everybody awake. All right, quickly get the potential investors' attention. So what could you do? What could you say to let them know what you have and who you are and what you have to offer them? Because you got to remember, people will invest and buy based on the personality of the person in the sales transaction. So you think about it, if you've ever gone somewhere, someone was totally rude to you or just nonchalant or unconcerned, you were less likely to spend as much if you came across someone who was clear on their vision, that were full of energy, and that gave you the start to finish all in a few seconds. You were ready to buy. So let's take a second, and I'm gonna help you guys with it, don't worry. But for now, let's take about 2 minutes, and you're going to work on your pitch. So my pitch is, we are the bridge that get you from where you are to where you want to be. So in my mind, I have painted a picture for this person so that they can visualize themselves going from this side of the bridge to the other side of the bridge, where they have everything that they wanted in their finances. So I paint a visual. So what statement could you paint in a person's mind that even if they didn't remember everything you said, but they would remember, hey, if I go to Martin Business Solution, she's going to take my finances from where they are now, and she's going to help me cross over to where I really want to be, which is have time freedom, money freedom. I want to be debt free. All those happy things are on the other side of this bridge, but currently they are in debt. They don't have enough time to do the things that they really want to do. So I've painted this picture. Hey, if you let me help you cross this bridge, I'll get you there. So what statement could you make about your business, about your organization, that will make a person want to patronize you? So I'm going to let everybody have quickly get the potential investor attention. So you got to get our attention, and you got to let us know what you do. It's a short amount of time, all right? And not just what you do, but how could you help me, all right? All right, so everybody will get 2 minutes, and I'll come right back, give everybody a chance to write out their pitch. And don't worry, we're going to take volunteers, so you'll get a chance to share with us as well. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. All right, we got about 30 seconds left. All right. Okay, so now we're back, and we are going to see if we have any takers on the pitch. So if we have one person that wants to be bold and brave enough to give us your pitch. Let me make sure that you all can, and if you want me to unmute you, just put it in the chat so I can unmute you. I don't want to unmute anyone that may not want to come on camera. Okay. All righty. All right, so we're going to move to the next part. And like I said, your pitch, remember, that is something that you can use that's going to also help you in your business plan. You will use the pitch to kind of get you started, because you're going to pull out of what you just said about your business, about the problem you solve, and how you can solve it. That is what you're going to use to start building on your business plan. All right, the market problem would be our very first breakdown in the business plan. What problem do you see in the marketplace that you can solve? So don't necessarily worry about solving the problem right now, just identifying the problem. Something that you saw that can be done better. You saw a need that needed to be met, or you saw something that just wasn't even in existence, and you said, you know what? I have a product or I have a service that would be great and it will help benefit XYZ. So you can get started that way as well. A market problem could be something from an experience that you had. If you've had a bad experience in a place of business and you say, you know what, there's a way to do this better. That could also motivate you. And then there's another way you can identify a market problem. You may have the challenge of saying, you know what, I need an extra stream of income. I'm having some challenges in my finances. So what could I do to make more money? So this would be this is also considered a market problem. So, don't forget to include yourself as well. So you identify the market problem, and then now you develop your solution. So the next portion to a business plan is the solution. A lot of times lenders and investors, especially if you're going to ask for funding elsewhere, before they give funding, give a loan, give a donation, give a grant, sometimes they want to know, what is your solution to the problem? How can you benefit this community or this group of people? So your solution oftentimes is also your pitch to lenders. So you put in your solution, how you're going to solve it, how much it's going to cost you to solve this, to be the solution, what avenues of research have you done, and things like that. So you just want to make sure that you are, that you're putting it out there so that your solution is part of your yes, to get the lenders to agree with you, to get the lenders to say, yes, I want to do business with you, because your solution, you may be solving, for example, I have a client that is doing an eco-friendly device. And his solution is, his problem is there's pollution in the earth. So his solution is to get rid of the pollution, and to do that, he's going to make an eco-friendly product. Now, everybody does that, they're kind of common, but in his solution, he put how it would save money. And so now the investors are looking at a 2-for-1. We're saving the planet and we're going to save money if we use his product, because there's another product like his out on the marketplace, but his is going to be more cost efficient. So your solution oftentimes may include figures that you can get across to your lender, potential lenders, or those that you're seeking a grant from. So in your solution, you don't want to just say, hey, I'm going to solve this problem with my new XYZ, but you also want to include dollars and cents. You want to make it make sense to the lenders or investors, just in case. You may not even need funding now, but in your business plan, if you write it in there for later, you won't have to go back and include that. All right. All right. So our next one is target market. Okay, so this is the fun stuff. Who is your ideal client or customer? If you could only work with one person all year, forever and ever, who would it be? Everybody got that one client said, man, I wish I had more customers like you. Or man, I wish I had, if you're in an organization, I wish I had more members like you. So who is that person? Okay. What do they like to do? What type of spending are they going to do? Now you've identified who the person is. What is it with them? Tell us all about that person. What is with them? Once you've identified who your target person is, and if you listen to me, I said person, because in honesty, we'll sell our products and services to anybody that wants to buy them, just about. But we don't have marketing dollars to advertise everyone. So we want to hone in on that one person that we're trying to reach. If we could only have one client for the rest of the year, just in January, who would that one client be? So think about who they are, and then you want to know everything about the what about them, what they like to do, what are their spending habits, what is their favorite color, depending on your product or service. So you need to know everything about that person that you have identified. So your target person, not just your target market. Don't worry about the market. The market is big and vast. Let's narrow it down to that one person. And then where are you going to find them? Do you advertise them on social media, in the newspaper, word of mouth? How are you going to reach that one person? Okay. If they don't do social media, you got to have plan B. If they only do social media, how is your social media page? How is your marketing? Okay. And then your why. Why would they want to buy it from you or will use your service or attend your organization? Why should that one person gravitate to you in your business? So you want to know who the person is, what they're into, where you can advertise to them, find them, or where are they, and then why would that person want to patronize your business or services? So take a second. I'm gonna allow like 60 seconds for you to narrow down who is your person and what they are into and where and why. So take a minute and write that down. All right. I'm coming back on. That's my way of letting you know your time is up. I may have to come up with something a little more creative, but that's what I have for now. All right, so get this window going. All right. So now that you have identified who your person is, now let's see who currently has your attention, your competitors. And if you haven't launched your business yet, great, you're in a great position because now you get to kind of do some research and you can borrow some of their ideas. It's okay. As long as you make it your own and do things authentically, you, knowing who your competition is, it gives you help with your business plan. Because remember, inside of your business plan is your marketing plan. It is also your financial plan, your holding guide, like, hey, these are the things that we stand on, our principles, our missions, our vision. And like I said, this is just a short summary of a business plan, but it gets the ball rolling. We do have a more in-depth version of this where we actually do, the number crunching and all the fun stuff. But for the most part, you want to know who your competitors are because it's going to tell you a few things. The market is already there. Your target market is inside of there, and your target person is possibly already doing business with your competition. So you need to know, what is the competition doing? What is the edge that they have over you? What do you have over them? So you got to know how to market properly. And you also want to keep from being familiar. So you don't, there are going to be some similarities. We know two burger places, you can think of them. Burger place number one, burger place number two. They sell burgers. Okay, so what is the difference in the burger? Is your target person at the right place? So we will find out. In your market research, you're gonna learn who your competitors are. everything that they're doing as far as their operation, because that's going to also give you some insight on what you need to tweak about yours. And for example, if you're just starting out, you can also study your competitors so that you can learn how much money you may need to start. Find out what the startup cost was for that business. That will give you a general idea of how much money you need, and that will save you on research. Another reason why you want to study your competitors, if you've been in business for a while, you want to run the numbers to see if you're on target, if you're above average, or if you're falling behind. So you can actually use your competitors as a gauge for your business. Now, don't get fearful and say, hey, I have to do mine just like this. No, you just mainly want to focus on the numbers. Numbers don't lie. So if you know someone has been in your industry longer than you and have success, you may want to check out and find out what it is that they're doing that you could potentially implement in your business. And remember, you can reach out to competitors. They love giving advice. You'd be surprised, especially if they think that you're going to give them some sort of credit. That's advertisement for them. So you can even reach out to your competitor for advice and guidance. All right. All right, so the next part in your business plan is the part that everybody likes to talk about: branding, marketing, and sales. And a lot of times we don't recognize that that's inside of the business plan. You have to have this written out. You don't just start making a social media post. You need to know why you're going to post this, where, when, how. All of that plays a part. So in your marketing strategy, part of your business plan, it gives you a way to start. So one of the things that we want to talk about is your brand. Who are you? What do you stand for? What are the colors? If you can think of a product right now in your home that every time you see that product, you know the company, just based on the color of the product or the logo or the design. So who are you? What are your missions? What are your values? How do I know that that's your product? How do I know that that is your service? They should be able to say, I know that that was done by XYZ because of ABC. What is tied to your brand? What is tied to you that lets people to be able to identify who you are, the type of service that they're going to get? And we can all think of a fast food place. We're like, look, the food is great, but the service is horrible. That's their brand. So just your brand could be good or it could be bad, or it could be a mixture of both. Or you can say, hey, I know at this place, when I go to get my food, gonna have great customer service, gonna have great food. That becomes part of your brand. What is it about your business that signifies that it's you? Oh, every time I see that logo or I see that color, it makes me think about so-and-so. So make sure that you know who you are. You have to be clear in that so that your brand can take life, okay? Marketing. What is your marketing strategy? Are you going to advertise on the radio? You're going to do Facebook? You're going to do TikTok? You're going to do door-to-door? You're going to make phone calls? What is going to be your marketing strategy to get your brand out? Your brand is who you are, what you stand for, your product, your services. Your marketing is how you're going to get that to the masses. What is that going to look like? You taking your brand and sharing it with the world. What are you gonna do for marketing? How much money are you gonna spend on marketing? That is very important because marketing can get expensive, and it can also pay for itself if you have a proper plan in place. Okay, so you gotta make sure that you're crystal clear on your brand, you're crystal clear on your marketing strategy. Now, those things can change, but you gotta have something to start with. So for example, if you say, well, this is my brand, you got that all worked out, you met with a branding coach and you got that clear. Now you have to decide, okay, I have $100 a week that I can spend on marketing or whatever your budget is. And now what are you gonna do with that $100? You wanna make sure that you're putting your marketing dollars where it's gonna yield you the best return. You don't wanna just be spending your money, just here and there and everywhere. So you gotta have a little strategic plan about your marketing, okay? And you want to be intentional. If remember, we talked about your target person in the target market earlier. You want to spend most of your dollars there, because if you can get that person over and over and over, that person is going to duplicate another person just like that person, and it's just going to continue to grow. And so now your marketing dollars are being reimbursed to you, but you got to know who you're going to be targeting it to. So once you get to the marketing part, who and where you're going to advertise, it's going to be simple for you. Okay. Now, sales. Now, in your business plan, sales plays an important part, especially if you're going to start talking about getting loans, grants, and donations for charities and stuff like that. Your sales part is very important to the lender because they need to see the numbers. So inside of your business plan, how does your sales look? What is going to be your projected sales for this year? If you have already been in business a while, you can look at last year, see your sales, and you can make a projection. Well, what if you're new to business? You need to have some sales. Remember I said, go to your competitors, see what the market generally does in your industry, in your zip code, in your area, in your region. And then you want to compare that to nationwide. You need to have sales in numbers, okay? And then you want to be realistic, okay? If you sell a product that's worth $1, how many of those do you have to sell to make $1 million, okay? So you need to have some sales, some numbers, and in your sales, you also have some sales goals. Hey, by the first quarter, I want to have earn XYZ. You know, by the third quarter, this is what we're going to do. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out that way, but guess what? You got a plan, and you can alter plans. You can't alter something if you don't have it planned out. So let's plan it out. Let's have some goals. Let's put them on the wall. No, I'm not going to turn this into a vision board party. But what I'm saying is you want to get yourself clear, precise, in writing, in some type of digital format. If it's digital on a notepad, I don't know, whatever floats your boat. You need to get it out of your head onto some paper. And you also want to have it in a business plan, professional format, just in case you need to get it out to, just in case you need to get it out to a lender or a potential buyer or an investor. So you want to make sure that you do that. All right. I want to make sure you guys can still hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me. Okay, great. Green was messing up. All right, cool. Technology, gotta love it, gotta embrace it. You know, it's almost like your love-hate relationship. You know, you need the technology, but you hate when it doesn't work. But you still haven't put the technology out. Okay, that's a whole nother story. All right, so let's go back to our. So our next part. Go back. All right, milestones. So now we've talked about our pitch. We've gone over the market problem, the solution that we're going to create, and how we're going to make our solution. We got our target market. We talked about our competitors, how we can use that to our advantage. We did a little bit on sales, marketing, and branding. That in itself is a whole nother class, but it should be a part of your business plan. And it doesn't have to be extensive and to the detail to the point to where this is it and it's set in stone for life, but you do need to have your sales, brand, and marketing inside of your business plan, because lenders do want to know those questions, like where are you advertising, where are you finding your clients, and of course they want to know about sales. So you want to have that inside of that. And this is not just for others, but this is also for you, so that you can have something to go back and reflect on, a point of reference. Okay, so our next part we're going to talk about is milestones. Milestones is another word for checklist, to-do list, accountability. And one of the things I like about milestones is you get to celebrate at every increment. You know, sometimes we give ourselves these goals and they're like outlandish, because you know that's how we are. We think big. If you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking big. You should be thinking big, because that's just what we just natural for us. But milestones let you celebrate the little wins along the way. So, for example, if attending this workshop was a milestone for you, when the class is over, you can say, yes, I finally attended something and got all the way through it. Yay, you know, it's a milestone. But milestones also give you timeline, give you deadline, give you date, and it gives you a point of reference, and it keeps you on track. And inside your business plan, if you include milestones, it also let your lenders and investors know what they should expect from you and when. So in your business, in your industry, or your organization, you can list out everything that you plan to accomplish by the end of this year. Now, you gotta, it's almost like you have two lists. You got this really grand thing that you got on your wall, and it's real outlandish. Okay, but then I need you to come back, and based on the things that we've been talking about, I need you to put some realistic milestones in there that you can check off, that you can put numbers to, deadline to, and expected date of production or date of maturity in that. So that when you go before lenders and investors, they know, like I said, they know what to expect from you and when. And that also keep you, it helps you with your marketing as well. If you know that you're going to have a Black Friday sale in November, and that's one of your milestones, that helps you in your marketing of when to start advertising it. Maybe you're going to start advertising in October. So that helps you stay on track as far as your marketing, help you stay on track as far as the things that you get into and add to your business, so that you don't become overwhelmed. And a milestone can also serve as a calendar. So you know where you need to be, when, and all those things. So you can do a lot of different things with your milestone. Milestones simply help you get it done and help you celebrate along the way. And it's kind of like a friendly competition with yourself. If you have this milestone list, you're like, you know what, I said I was going to do this by the first quarter. That puts you in a crunch to get it done. So it kind of almost becomes your accountability partner, your very own milestone that you made at the beginning of the year. All right. All right, so our next part that we're going to discuss in our business plan is going to be our team. If you were on at the very beginning, I mentioned that a lot of time when we're entrepreneurs and it's just us, or if we have one or two people that work with us in the office, we don't necessarily think of ourselves as having a team. Well, quite the contrary. If you are a single member LLC business owner, you still have a team. You gotta think about it. There are things and people that you reach out to help you with certain parts of your business that you might not necessarily consider part of your team, but they really are. So let's find an example. If you own a car wash business where you do mobile detailing and you go and you wash cars for folks. So you're saying, hey, I'm a one-man show. I get in my van and I go and clean the car and I get paid. How would I qualify as having a team? Just think about it. If you have to stop along the way and buy cleaning supplies and you go to your local auto store, that becomes part of your team, because when you go in there, you may ask the sales clerk that you see every Saturday, hey, which one is the best tire cleaner? That person advises you and become part of your team. And you know that if you get out in the and you start working and you have to call back, you can say, hey, I got to swing by there. Can you pull some of that off the shelf? You have just made that person part of your team. So think about all the people that you lean on, whether it's for advice, actual resources, or services. Think about the people that you outsource certain things to. If you're a realtor and you need the home stage, what company do you go to quite often to stage the house for you? That person becomes a part of your team. So you don't always have to think about the team being someone that's on your current payroll, that is absolutely part of your team. And you want to make sure that you're including all those persons that actually work hands-on in the business. What are their qualifications? What can they do? And what are the actual role definition is so important. But also think about people outside of your office that are part of your team. If you have advisors, those people are part of your team, and you need to write out who helps you do what. This business plan will also serve as, and I know this is one of the subjects that a lot of people don't like to talk about, in case of your untimely departure from this beautiful world. What is the person that's getting handed your business? This will help them know, who do you reach out to? Who are your vendors? Who are the people you're most likely to call? You want to make sure that you have everything in plain English so that your legacy can continue. Unless you're saying, hey, when I'm out of here, I'm shutting everything down. Quite naturally, you're going to shut everything down because you won't be here. But anyway, so, but if you wanted to go on without you, you need to have a business plan that's in writing or digital copy that someone could actually pick up and say, oh, okay, the business was supposed to be doing this next quarter. This is the person that they get their cleaning supplies from. This is the advisor. This was where they were putting the marketing dollars. All of those things become part of your business plan, not just to help you stay on track, but to also be able to pass the torch to someone else so that they can continue your legacy. At least that's what we hope for. You know, we want to, you know, I'm sure Henry Ford had some type of plan somewhere. Someone was able to read it and run with it. So let's make sure that we're doing that. I know that was a bit of a sidebar, but hey, I thought it was needed to put that in there. And that is also something that we do here at My Business Solution. We do legacy planning, and not just for personal, but for business, because you want to make sure that everything that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, it doesn't end with you. You want to be able to have this to go and go and go and go, so that your great-grandchildren can say, you know, grandma was pretty cool. She left us this nice business, you know. So, you know, we want those gold stars. We want to be the center of the conversation, you know, years and years and years from now. All right, so the fun stuff, budget. Yay, everybody say we're gonna do budget. Yay. Budgeting is fun. It's the fun stuff. All right. So in a budget, this can get real extensive and detailed and grinding. But for the sake of this class, which is going to be a general overview, whether you're just starting, you haven't started, and you're thinking about starting, or if you've been in business a long time, you definitely know that you need to do a budget. Now, a budget is not the same as an, you know, an expense sheet and all those things. So you put budget, yeah, spell it out, B-U-D-G-E-T. Oh, bud, get it done. Nobody likes doing budgeting. I think it's fun. Anyway, that's just me. That's just my little weird thing about myself. Everybody got something weird about them. All right. So in a budget, the three main components we'll talk about today. And like I said, because this is an overview class, of course, we're not going to get into the, you know, the spreadsheet. Should you use Excel? Should you use mint.com? You know, there are so many things that you can use. But this is my advice to any and everyone. Use whatever you're going to do consistently. Now, if that's a notebook, fine. I'm not knocking it. If it's going to be Excel spreadsheet, if it's going to be some new digital app, whatever you're going to use today to start your budgeting, do it consistently and see it all the way through. That's what I want you to use to do your budget. All right. So the first component to the budget is expenses. How much does it cost to run your business? Write down, if you've been in business already and you were in business last year, you can go through your bank statement and say, okay, I see I go to Office Depot every week and I buy pens. So that needs to be an expense. Up to the big things, you know, the internet, your cell phone bill, you know, your maintenance on your car if you use your vehicle for work. What are your expenses? Do you even know how much your expenses are every month, every week, every day? However you calculate, you know, your budgeting, how much is it? Okay, every expense you need to know. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the same thing next year, but to make a budget, we have to have some starting numbers. And so this is what it's going to help us do. We know that if I spend $50 a month in the business, then chances are I'm going to need $50 next month. So how much did you spend in your business on last month? And if you haven't started, how much money will you need? Okay, revenue. How much money did you earn? Okay, and if you haven't started, how much money do you need to earn? So when we get to revenue, this is a tax tip real quick. On your taxes, you want to count every penny, every dollar that you earn. You want that to be your starting number so that when you write your expenses, you can take your credits and your loss and your deduction. Well, if you don't have enough revenue, you don't leave any room for deduction. So a lot of times people just put the money that they clear on their taxes well, you're really shooting yourself in the foot, because whenever it comes to lending and financing and then having a true budget, you need to know where you started, list all of your expenses, and when the dust settles, you can see if you have a profit or a loss. And if you have a loss, you can see where the loss was, so that you could potentially do something about that for next year, okay? And also lenders look at that. If you taken loss but don't have the revenue, it just doesn't make sense, it doesn't add up. So you want to start with every dime that you earn, so that you can show that, hey, I made the money, but these are the expenses that I had. So make sure you do that. Statement, just like what I just mentioned. Once you make your expenses and your revenue, you should be able to generate a statement that says, this is how much money my business earned, this is how much we had in expenses, and this is what we project that we would need to put in our budget for going forward. So we're in January, and if you do your budget based on 2021, it's going to tell you, you should have a statement that says, this is what I can do for this year. And of course, we always want to exceed in our revenue, and we want to decrease in our expenses. That is the goal. That is how we're going to make more money. But we got to have something to start with. If we're saying, hey, I want to increase my sales by 50%, how are you going to do that? You need to check your expenses and you need to check your revenue. So doing a budget helps you meet your sales goal that we set in the prior slide. We need to know, where are we realistically and how can we get there? Either you're going to have to decrease your expenses or increase your revenue, okay? You don't want to increase them both, because then you're still going to have the same thing, just the same amount of money at the end. So one of the two got to give, okay? That's a whole nother class, but just wanted to make sure that you guys have the basic. All right. All right, so that concludes the budgeting part, but I did want to let you guys know I'm going to send out a template that you can use, and you can go back and forth with it and work on it. But I wanted to let you know our upcoming class is going to be the customer process. And customer could be for ministry, for organization, for nonprofits, for businesses, and for service businesses and product-based businesses. The customer process. What does that look like? What make people buy? What make people patronize your services? So you want to make sure that you sign up for that. Now I'm going to open it up if anybody have any questions. Let's see if anybody have any questions. How can I open that up? All right. All right, you all should be able to unmute yourself. If you have a question, we'll take a couple questions, and then I'll have a couple of announcements before I let you guys go. Any questions?
So how soon after starting a business, or should you do the business plan before you start the business?
You said after you start the business, how soon should you do what?
No, I said, at first I was going to ask how soon after you start the business should you do your business plan, but then I say, or is it best to have it before you start the business?
In a perfect setting, you would want to do your business plan before you actually launch the business, because this is going to help you save money, save time, save errors and mistakes. But if you've already started your business, you can still do the business plan, because it can help you revamp something, or you may just be right on track and you just need this for document sake. So the best answer would be to do it beforehand, but oftentimes, in most cases, we've already started our businesses and don't have a business plan. That's very common. Don't beat yourself up about it, just go back and do it.
Now, I personally know where some of my issues lies. I am creative in a lot of different arenas and areas, but when it comes to marketing myself, that is where I kind of sometimes fall short. So even when I'm looking at the pitch, I know my pitch is okay, as a realtor, as a newbie to the business, and being affiliated with a broker, right? So my question, I know my pitch is going to be tied to my marketing and my brand. And that's where I feel somewhat stifled, because this is a new arena for me. B, it's a humongous arena. C, there are thousands of competitors. And it's like, really, how do you stand out? Trying to figure that out. Do I specialize? Do I find a specific niche that where there's a great need, which I kind of think that's the path that I'm gonna wind up taking, but it's really not an easy path, right? So I, I don't know. I'm just, if I have been trying since I became a realtor November 8th to figure out, because I want to start off with everything on the right foot and not have to change something midstream or whatever. So that's,
Okay, well, a couple of things. You may have to continuously change things midstream. I mean, that's in the industry. I mean, I had my business colors set and I'm already changing my colors already. So you're gonna have changes that are gonna be inevitable sometimes, because you're gonna take certain paths that's gonna force you to have to change other things. So don't worry about that. But one of the things I will say, November 8th, congratulations. You may need this first year to kind of figure that out, because like you said, your industry is so vast and so broad, and then you're tied to an agency that already has a brand. Right. So you got to figure out how to carve yourself out of that. So that takes me back to one of our original questions was, who is your target person? Not the necessary target market. If you could sell a house to this particular person, who would this person be? And don't always gravitate to where there's a greater need. Don't be the savior. This is about business. Now, if you just have a heart for people, you may want to start a nonprofit and do something on that path. But for your first year, you have to generate enough sales to make a name so that you can go back and save the world. Well, before you can save the world, you got to save yourself. So let's figure out what type of client you want to sell a house to. If you could just work with this one particular person. Now, of course, you'll sell a house to anybody, but we got to figure out this one person. Because I mean, if somebody who don't match nothing I got on this paper want to buy a house, it's sold. But go back to that one particular person, have everything you know about them, what they like to do, where they are, where can you find them, you know, do they do social media, you know, everything about that one particular person, and start there. And from there, you'll build your brand, because then you'll see how you were able to help them. And then that's gonna, you can say, you know what, I'm good at this. This is my niche. This is my brand. When people see this, they know that stands out. That's me. Even though right now you're still under someone else, you gotta carve yourself out, or you're gonna get washed out or washed in with the rest. I hope that helps a little bit.
It's just confirms what I already know.
Huh?
I say it kind of confirms what I already know. It's,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because
don't beat yourself about it. You know, you need a year. You need a year. Because at the end of this year, you're gonna change, like, you know what, that I'm not doing that. I want to do this one. So you need a year.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? All righty.
Can I add to that comment?
Yes, please do, by all means.
Oh, and I put in the comments that I agree, you might need a year to figure it out. And I say that because of the market that, especially because of the market that you're in, real estate. And because you're brand new at it, you don't really know, you know, who your target audience is right now, besides it being general of somebody that desires to buy a house or somebody that desires to rent a house, because maybe you do that also.
Yes.
But so, you know, there's so many different avenues in it. You might take a year, because you have to fill out the different areas to say which one that I really, you know, gravitate to, or which, you know, what clientele do I want to sell to the investors only, or do I want to sell to the people who want the $500,000 houses or the $1 million houses? But just like Candy said, don't try to be the savior. You're trying to make some money. You can save the people later.
Yep.
You make the commission check on the big thing, and then you can help somebody on the small end. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
take the year and embrace everything, and then you'll be able to figure out which one that you're gravitating to, which one you feel more comfortable with, which one that you can, that you're just comfortable with. And like, in the next 3 years, it might change. It might be something else, so.
Yeah, especially with the market. In real estate, sometimes that's why I said you may have to rebrand because of what happens in the market overall. Some things may force you to have to change. So don't get bent out about it.
Thank you, kid.
All right. So any other questions? I got my contact information up here in case you need to contact me. Reach out, go to our website. We have some more classes upcoming. And I definitely want you guys to take part of it. So go to the website, see what other classes we have coming up, and let us see how we can get into some more details, some fine print, and the fun stuff, the numbers. All right, so I want to show y'all one more slide, and then that will conclude our class. Do I have any other questions from anyone before I go over this last slide? All right, well, one of our partners, which is the AK Legacy Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that I developed, just sort of like what Ms. Jennifer mentioned, wanted to help others. And so in this, we have some resources that are available to help you. And like I said, the template that I'm gonna actually send you is courtesy of the AK Legacy Foundation as well. And this template you can use, you can print it out, and it'll help you in your business planning process. So everyone that's on today, you will get an email later on today with the template attached. Print it out, save it, do whatever you need to do, and get to planning your business and making some changes and adjustments. Lots of times when you sit down and you start writing, you'll realize, I need to change this, or I need to add this, or I need to take this out. Planning helps you do better. It doesn't solve all the problems, but it does keep you on track, and it does give you a point of reference. One other thing that I want to mention, at any and every time, we do want to partner with the AK Legacy Foundation and accept any donation that will continue to let us teach financial literacy classes such as the one you just attended. So if I don't have any other questions, I'm gonna double check the chat. Any other questions before we conclude the class on today? All right, well, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of your schedule to hang out with me for this hour. And I pray that you all are blessed and prosperous in your business endeavors, whether you are I'm sorry, somebody had a question? Okay, so whether you're just starting out, been in business forever, or not sure if you're in or out of business, and if this is a paid hobby, you want to make it a business, I'm glad to have had the opportunity to talk with you today. So I will see you guys on the next class and be looking out for that email. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day.